You know that feeling when you buy a brand new pair of football gloves and they stick like this? And then over time, it kind of just goes away. Instead, use these different techniques that bring all the stick back to your gloves. And you'll definitely want to stick around for the last one because it's probably a game changer for you that you've never seen before. Okay, so before we start, it's really important to understand that there's tons of different football gloves in the market, and every single one has a different way they stick. A good example of this is cutters. Now they have their C-Tech grip, which also have what they call their RevTech recharge. And what that means is when you get these things clean, the stick is restored to its original state, which is fantastic. But also when they do have a little bit of dirt on them, they perform a little worse than other gloves. So you kind of have to balance it out. Every glove has a different stick, and so some of these tips will perform differently depending on the gloves you own. The Nike VaporJet grip is different. They have their Magna Grip Plus, and it again doesn't restore as well as the cutters when you get it completely clean, but also with a little bit of dust on it, I find it performs better. And if you want our opinion on what gloves are best, we just dropped our top 5 gloves of 2024. Go watch that video as well. All right, the first tip that we always recommend when you're trying to get sticky gloves is Grip Boost. Now, Grip Boost is essentially a gel that you rub on your gloves, let air dry, and then you have an instant stick. Now, in the moment, this stuff performs absolutely great, but from my use over time, I found that you have to apply the gel very regularly, and it also doesn't clean all the dust and stuff off your glove. Don't get me wrong, it is a fantastic product, but at the same time, I treat it more like makeup, where it's not really fixing some of the underlying issues. But in the moment, it does the job. Now, before we go on to the next one, it's really important you understand how gloves work. So gloves, the palm has essentially 2 layers. You have an underneath layer to it, which is where they have the graphic design, and then over top of it is where they put their sticky material that gives it that grip. Now, this grip is always some different polymer depending on the company you're working with, but there's always some form of like silicone in it that gives it that grippy texture. And dirt is the biggest barrier between that silicone layer and the ball, and that's what makes it feel like the grip just doesn't work anymore. So if you remove that dirt, you bring the stick back. So number 2 is simple. You got to make sure your gloves are clean. Now, I highly recommend on a weekly or monthly basis, you are taking your gloves and you are hand washing them in the sink with some soap and water and letting them air dry. That'll deal with all the bacteria and the other stuff, but it's also going to clean the grip too. Now, in the moment, if you're stuck on the field, you need something quick and easy. Old school spit. Spit on your gloves, spit on both gloves, rub them together, wipe it off on your pants, and that will remove some of the dirt and make them sticky for just a little bit. Now, even more effective, because there's frankly just more of it, is water. Take some water, grab your water bottle, spray your gloves down, and then after that, wipe them off with a towel, and that'll again remove a little bit more dirt than the spit will. Now, the next one you're going to want to look at is hand sanitizer. So hand sanitizer, because it is rubbing alcohol based, is going to do a great job of getting all that dirt off your gloves, but also any other contaminants that could be on the ball, like wax or anything else that you picked up on the field. Now, hand sanitizer is great because these little bottles are very convenient, but you're also going to run through them pretty fast, and picking up a big kind of squirt bottle is also just not very convenient as well. So the next tip is actually going to make it a little more convenient with the same effectiveness. Instead, I recommend these alcohol Clorox wipes because they do a great job of getting rid of all the dirt, grime, and everything in your gloves, and because the alcohol in them, they air dry really fast. It's basically like the water in the towel, but just way more effective. There you go. There's a bunch of really easy ways at different levels that you can make your gloves clean and help restore all that stick without having to get a new pair of gloves or use any other crazy products or gimmicks that you're going to have to put on top. I hope you enjoyed this quick video. Again, I'll see you in a couple days.